Victoria Violet. Have you ever been either in a mood where you were not very cheerful, or maybe you just did not feel like smiling, and someone, as you're out and about in the world, literally just stops and says to you, smile, it's not so bad. I want to discuss that today. In Spanish, it is said that cada cabeza es un mundo. In English, within each mind or head, there's a different world. We don't know what that person is experiencing at the moment that we encounter them. They could have had a huge fight with a significant other. They could have lost a court battle, or worse. They could have ended up, experiencing the death of a loved one. And you're imposing on them, your energy onto them as to what you feel and think they should be expressing outwardly at that moment. I'm bringing this up because we can't possibly be on our P's and Q's at every moment, because we are having a human experience. Therefore, we're not going to be perfect little porcelain dolls that sit on a shelf and have a silly smirk or smile, pasted on to our face at all times. We have ups and we have downs. We have ebbs and flows to life, right? So that's a pet peeve of mine, for people to say, smile. You don't know me. You don't know what I'm going through. Let's talk about depression for a second. I am not a physician, and I do expect that each and every person that does need a professional to do so as they need, right? As they may need. There's 3 types of depression, by the way. There's depression that comes along and it's just momentarily. We may or may not need help getting through those times medically, right? Everybody gets depressed now and again, and then it just goes away. Then those of us who suffer from a death or a divorce or a loss of some sort, even a job, can render us in a state, and forgive my GPS, it's going to sound in a minute, into a very, very deep depression, right? Empty nesters, retiring from your job. Even if you want that, you may not know what to do with yourself, so it leaves you depressed because daily you had a routine, right? You may not like taking care of children at an older age, but at the same time, if they're leaving the coop, flying the coop, you may feel some kind of way, because the sensation of hearing them or watching them do something within the household is not there anymore, right? There's a great many things that can render us depressed. Now those events can render us depressed for longer periods, and we may need help. And then there's the 3rd type of depression, right? Which is actually a disorder. These folks were born that way. There's not enough serotonin or dopamine reuptake into their brain, so they do need those chemicals that are taken most likely orally, daily, that need to be built up within their system for their brain to utilize those chemicals, and then for there to be a balance and not be as depressed. Those chemicals, sometimes they work really well, those pills. medications, and sometimes they just don't work with your chemical makeup for whatever reason. So those people, why I'm bringing that up is because those types of people are going to require a little longer periods, because the episode may be rather long that they're experiencing. And depending whether, I won't go through all the aspects, but whether it's a manic depression or it's a deep depression to where they can't do anything, let alone get out of bed or function, they may need that extra help. So I say all those things by expression and explanation to say this. When we say to someone, snap out of it. When we say to someone, it's not so bad. When we say to someone, smile, it won't kill you. We don't know in which category that person is presenting to us. And the reason we may most definitely not know is, what if they're perfect strangers? Or what if they're acquaintances? What if they're co-workers? We don't know. What if, let's say they are family members? Even family members sometimes, or even best friends, can misunderstand or miss the cues of, hey, I need help, or hey, I just need one person to say something positive. Now, let's take the scenario of the person that said, smile, won't kill you. What if instead of saying smile, it won't kill you, what if saying something like, I'm not saying anything at all, right? But I smile. I smile. Sometimes that's all that's needed. You don't need to be acknowledged verbally all the time. You don't. And sometimes you don't even want to hear. If you're saying something to someone, like I recorded earlier on another video, and you're having a hard time, or you're finding things to be very hard at that moment in time of your life, sometimes there are no words of wisdom. There aren't. I'll give you, for example, about 10 years ago, a really good friend that I had known for 15 years lost her eldest son in a horrendous car accident. And every year for his birthday and every year on the anniversary of his death, all she would do was cry. That was something, because I am not a parent who has lost a child. That is something that there were no words to express or convey my sorrow that she was going through her sorrows. So after about a year, I stopped saying, it's okay, it's going to pass, it's okay, it'll get better. Because it didn't. For her, it did not get better. It never did. To this date, it still haunts her. She still feels the mourning of her child. So again, we don't know what people are going through. We can only imagine what we don't know. So instead of butting in, and instead of saying things, sometimes it's better just to give a smile, you know, and that's it. Because we don't know what that person needs. Most likely, if you're like me, sometimes I need my space. At other times, I need a hug. So how are you going to know if you don't know me? How are you going to know what I need? And would I accept a hug from a mere stranger? Of course not. That's kind of creepy, right? So again, giving the people, allowing them the space to just be, and stop trying to fix everyone and everything. And just in silence, sometimes if you just sit there in silence with that person, they might open up. They might feel comfortable enough to tell you what's wrong. But even then, the best thing to do is listen and not give your words of wisdom unless they ask you for them. And don't do it in a judgy way, because they're already judging themselves severely. So they don't need you to help them to feel bad about themselves. They're already pros at doing that. I hope this helps someone out there that's going through depression, that's going through something, heartache, etc. And I hope that it helps you to understand that yes, it's gonna pass, but you have a right to feel a need to mourn or to just feel your pain, whatever that pain may be that you're experiencing. May it pass and may you feel better in time. Victoria Violet, love you very much. Bye.